If you've been having sex for years and you genuinely believe your woman has been satisfied every single time, I need you to sit down because statistically, you're wrong. Studies show that up to 67% of women have faked an orgasm not once, regularly, and not with strangers, with their partners, the men they love. Nobody ever sat most men down and said, here's what she actually needs. Here's what great sex looks like from her side of the bed. We got sex ed that was really just a biology class. We learned about reproduction. We did not learn about a woman's pleasure, her psychology, her body, what she's thinking, what she needs to feel before you even touch her. And the funny part? Most women are not withholding this information to be mysterious. They just assume you already know, or they don't feel safe enough yet to say it out loud. So she goes silent. She performs. She meets you where you are because she doesn't want to make you feel inadequate. And meanwhile, she's quietly wondering if this is just how it's always going to be. Today, we're ending that. I'm going to walk you through exactly what women consider great sex, because the man who understands this, he doesn't just change his sex life, he changes his entire relationship. So if you're a man who genuinely wants to be unforgettable to the woman in your life, stay with me, because what I'm about to share will change the way you think about intimacy completely. For a woman, great sex does not begin when you get into bed. It begins hours, sometimes days before that moment. Here's why. A man's arousal is largely physical and immediate. Something visual triggers it, and he's ready within seconds. A woman's arousal is cumulative. It builds through how she's been treated, how safe she feels, how connected she feels to you emotionally. There's actually a part of the female brain, the amygdala, that has to calm down before a woman can fully access desire. And what activates the amygdala? Stress, feeling unseen, tension that was never resolved. That argument you had and never properly closed. She brought it to bed with her. Think about the last time your woman was truly, genuinely present. Not just physically there, but fully open, fully with you. I want you to trace back what that day looked like. I'd be willing to bet that earlier that day, or the day before, you did something that made her feel valued. You checked in on her. You handled something without being asked. You looked at her, not through her, and she felt it. She needs to feel emotionally safe with you. Not just loved in theory, safe in practice, safe to relax. Safe to be imperfect. Safe to want something without being judged for it. She needs to feel desired, outside of sex. Not just grabbed when you want something, but noticed. A hand on her back when you walk past her. Telling her she looks good on a random day. Sending a message midday that has nothing to do with logistics. These are not small things to her. These are deposits. And the bedroom is where you spend them. The man who only pursues his woman when he wants sex is training her to associate his attention with obligation. And obligation is the death of desire. Also, let me remind you, women carry an invisible mental load that most men don't fully see. The kids, the schedules, the house, the mental checklist that never fully switches off. If she comes to bed, exhausted and mentally overwhelmed, her body may be there, but her mind isn't. And she cannot separate the two the way you can. So what does this look like in practice? It means foreplay for a woman is not what happens 5 minutes before sex. It's the way you spoke to her this morning. It's whether you listened when she talked about something that mattered to her. It's whether she feels like your partner or just your roommate who occasionally shares a bed. This is what women, when they feel completely safe, completely honest, say they actually want when it comes to sex. And I'm going to give it to you straight. Number 1, presence, not your body, you. One of the biggest complaints women have about sex is that the man is physically there, but mentally somewhere else. Thinking about work, going through the motions, treating it like something to finish rather than something to experience. Women feel that absence deeply. What she wants is a man who is locked in, who is fully there, whose attention doesn't drift, who makes her feel like there is absolutely nowhere else in the world he would rather be, and nothing else on his mind. Presence is not a technique. It's a decision. and it is one of the most intimate gifts you can give a woman. Number 2, pace. Men rush, almost universally, and it's not entirely your fault. Your body is wired for it. But her body is wired differently. She needs time, not as a formality, not as something you endure before the real thing begins. The build-up is the real thing for her. Slowing down, deliberately, confidently, tells her something powerful. It tells her you're not just chasing your own satisfaction. It tells her she matters enough to take your time over. The men women describe as unforgettable are almost never the most experienced. They are the most patient. Pace is not weakness. Pace is control. And women find it extraordinarily attractive. Number 3, communication. This one makes most men uncomfortable, and that discomfort is exactly why so many women feel unsatisfied. She wants to know that you want her. Say it. She wants to know what you love about her. Say it. She wants to feel like her responses matter to you. Ask her, not in a way that breaks the moment, but in a way that makes her feel like you are paying attention to her specifically, not just going through a routine. And here's the other side of this. She needs to feel safe enough to tell you what she wants, without fear of judgment, without fear of bruising your ego, without fear of killing the mood. That safety doesn't just appear. You build it outside the bedroom, in how you respond when she's vulnerable, in whether she trusts that you can handle her honesty. When she knows she can speak freely, everything changes. Number 4, to be desired, not just used. There is a difference between a man who wants sex and a man who wants her. She can feel that difference every single time. When a man makes her feel like any warm body would do, she checks out. She may stay, she may say nothing, but something inside her quietly closes. But when a man makes her feel like she is specifically, particularly, uniquely the one he wants, that he's drawn to her, that she does something to him that no one else does, she comes alive. Tell her what you notice. Be specific, mean it, not flattery. Attention. There is a difference. Flattery is general. Attention is intimate, and women know which one they're receiving. Number 5, emotional safety to let go. This is the deepest one, and the one most men never even know exists. A woman cannot fully experience intimacy while she is holding herself together. And most women, without even realizing it, are holding themselves together constantly, managing how they look, wondering if they're taking too long, worried about whether you're enjoying yourself, monitoring their own responses. She is performing when she should be feeling. And the reason she's performing is that she doesn't yet feel safe enough to fully let go. That safety is your responsibility to create, not through pressure, but through consistent, patient, non-judgmental presence, where she learns over time that with you, she doesn't have to manage anything. She can just be. The moment a woman feels that safe with a man, truly safe, the entire experience transforms. For both of you. And that is not something you can fake your way into. It is built intentionally, over time. Here's what all 5 of these have in common. Did you notice? None of them are physical techniques. Every single one of them is about who you are as a man, your awareness, your patience, your intentionality, your emotional intelligence. Great sex for a woman is not a performance. It is the overflow of a connection she feels safe enough to fall into. Now that you know what she actually wants, let's talk about what's getting in the way. Because most men are not failing in the bedroom because they don't care. They're failing because nobody ever told them the truth about what they're doing wrong. So I'm going to tell you, directly, without softening it. First mistake, rushing to the finish line. Sex for most men has a destination. And everything before that destination feels like a detour. She feels that energy, the impatience, the sense that you're moving through her rather than with her. And the moment she feels like a means to an end, she is gone. Still there physically, but gone. The build-up is not foreplay. The build-up is the experience. When you rush it, you're not skipping the opening act. You are skipping the entire show and wondering why she didn't enjoy the performance. Down, not because you have to, but because she is worth it. Second mistake, the silent treatment. Not the punishing kind, the disconnected kind. The man who says absolutely nothing, who moves through the entire experience in complete silence. No words, no sounds, no acknowledgement of her presence, like he's alone in the room. Silence in that space doesn't feel masculine to her. It feels isolating. You don't need a script. You don't need rehearsed lines. You just need to be present and let that presence be heard. A word, her name, what you're feeling in that moment. Something that reminds her, I see you. I'm here. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Third mistake, treating foreplay like a checkbox. You know the move. The obligatory few minutes of going through the motions. Not because you're genuinely interested in her experience, but because you know you're supposed to do something before you get to what you actually want. She knows the difference between a man who is genuinely invested in her pleasure and a man who is doing the minimum required before moving on. And that difference is not just felt, it is remembered. Women don't forget how a man made them feel. The good stays with them, but so does the careless. Stop treating it like a door you have to knock on before entering. Start treating it like a destination worth arriving at slowly. Fourth mistake, making it about performance. This one affects men more than they realize, and it quietly destroys intimacy from the inside. When a man is in his head, worried about how long he lasts, whether he's doing it right, he has left the room emotionally. He is now performing for an invisible audience. And ironically, that self-consciousness is exactly what creates the problems he's afraid of. She doesn't need a performance. She needs you, relaxed, present, genuinely focused on her. Get out of your head. Get into the moment. That shift alone will change everything. Fifth mistake, ignoring her feedback, spoken or unspoken. She tells you, maybe not always in words, but she tells you, in the way her body responds, in the sounds she makes or stops making, in the subtle shift of her energy when something isn't working, in the quiet that falls when she's checked out. And most men miss it entirely because they're not watching. They're not listening. They're focused on their own experience and assuming hers is matching. Here is a rule that will serve you for the rest of your life. Her response is your compass. Follow it. Not your assumptions, not what you read somewhere. Her, your woman in front of you. She is giving you information constantly. The only question is whether you're paying attention. Sixth mistake, the disappearing act after. What happens after intimacy matters more to a woman than most men will ever understand. When a man rolls over, picks up his phone, or falls asleep the moment it's over, she doesn't just feel dismissed in that moment. She questions everything that just happened. Was that connection real? Does he actually see me? Or was I just convenient? That space after quiet, unhurried, warm, is where she processes everything. Where she decides whether she feels closer to you or more alone. Hold her. Stay present. Let the moment breathe. Not because it's a rule, but because she just gave you herself. She deserves to know it was well received. Here's the thread running through every single one of these mistakes. Selfishness, the unconscious kind. The kind that comes from never being taught to think about her experience with the same seriousness you think about your own. The good news is, unconscious patterns can be broken the moment you become aware of them. And you're aware now. Everything we've covered today, the emotional safety, the presence, the pace, the desire, the mistakes, it all points to one thing. The kind of intimacy that a woman never stops thinking about is not created by technique. It is created by intention. And intention is a choice, one that most men never consciously make. But information without action is just entertainment. So let me give you 3 things you can do differently, starting tonight. First, slow everything down. Not just physically, energetically. Walk into that space with the quiet confidence of a man who has nowhere else to be and nothing to prove. That energy alone will change the atmosphere in the room. Second, say something real, not a line. Something specific, something true, something that tells her you actually see her. Women are starving for the kind of attention that is particular to them. Be that man. Third, stay after. Whatever your habit has been, change it tonight. Be present after. Let her feel that what just happened between you mattered, that she matters, not as a body, as a person you chose. Those three things cost you nothing, and they will return to you more than you can imagine. If something in here made you think, made you reflect, made you want to be better, share this with a man who needs to hear it. I will see you in the next one.